You may have heard me say this a time or 10. People buy the way you sell before they buy what you sell. For that reason, this is the way I work can be a magic phrase for you. And I urge you to develop your own. This is the way I work talk. It's a talk you're going to have with your prospects before you try to sell them anything. This is the way I work talk will get prospects to relax and engage with you rather than resist you. And once they bought the way you sell, the way you're going to work together, prospects will be willing to work with you on a calendar basis, and they'll never ghost you. Wouldn't that be nice? In The Accidental Salesperson, I tell my Bob Voss story. Mr. Voss was the new general manager at the Shapey, Conway, Dodge and Chrysler dealership in Madison, Wisconsin. Well, when Mr. Voss got to town, he immediately canceled all of the dealership's advertising on every radio and TV station. Then he gave each sales rep a 20-minute meeting to repitch the annual schedules that he just canceled. He scheduled those meetings back to back to back. My meeting was set for 1:20 p.m. That meant I was the 11th rep he was going to see that day. At 1:20, Mr. Voss's door opened, and the rep with the 1 o'clock meeting staggered out, shaking his head, looking all flustered, and I walked into his office. I started to introduce myself and shake hands. Hi, Mr. Voss. Chris, he cut me off. Sit down and pitch me. You're my 1:20 meeting. Now, I knew I had to match his intensity, so I said, well, I don't know if you should be on our station or not, sir. What do you mean? Well, this is the way I work. My clients want my ideas and customized schedules designed to meet their sales and growth goals, not mine. So I don't pitch anything unless I know the outcomes they want. In your case, I won't pitch anything unless I know what your plans for turning around this dealership are. Now, I want to be in a position to make an intelligent presentation based on what you're trying to do. And then I gestured to his credenza, which was covered with the 10 media kits left behind by the salespeople who had already had their 20-minute meetings with Mr. Voss. And I said, have you had any intelligent presentations so far today, Mr. Voss? Chris, he replied, sinking into his chair, this has been the most boring day of my life. Well, Mr. Voss, call me Bob, he said. Okay, Bob, tell me what you're trying to accomplish here. Now, I know you turned around Dodge City and Milwaukee. What's going to happen here? And he opened up and shared his plans. And our 20-minute meeting lasted an hour and 20 minutes. When it was over, Bob opened the door to usher me out. There were 4 salespeople, all competitors, waiting for their 20-minute meetings. We shook hands, and I said, see you next week, Bob. And he said, thanks, son. And he patted me on the shoulder. I smiled at the salespeople and nodded to them, and I may even have winked at them. And I said, good luck, folks. The rest of the story, 2 weeks later, Bob was my second biggest client. He bought a lot of advertising from me over the years, but he didn't buy anything until he bought into the way we were going to work together. Now, even though he told me to pitch him, I wouldn't do it. I wanted to understand what he was trying to do. People buy because we understand them, not because we make them understand what we're selling. So if your sales process requires more than one meeting, start that process with your own, this is the way I work talk. Because you've got to be in the sales conversation with your prospects long enough to build your credibility, earn the respect and trust, and then make your intelligent presentation. And I'm not saying that my this is the way I work presentation is the perfect one for you. Craft your own. Use mine as a model. British sales trainer Chris Jones says selling is earning the right to make a recommendation. So you might say, this is the way I work. I want to earn the right to make a recommendation to you about how you might improve blank. Let's have a conversation so that I can learn if there are ways I may be able to help you. Knowing, of course, up front that there may not be a fit. Would you be open to that? Don Beveridge was an early influence on my sales and career and my sales philosophy. And 50 years ago, he was telling his clients, I will not ask for your business unless I can show you a plan to improve it. Maybe he was onto something. Chris Lytle, work on your this is the way I work talk. Practice it, memorize it, adapt it to the prospects you're working with. use it and use it a lot, because did I already mention this? People buy the way you sell before they buy what you sell. Talk soon.